Have you ever wondered what one simple act of courage you can do this in the face of a situation of extreme risk? This is a common street in a lively neighborhood where people will come and go, distracted by their daily routines. Suddenly, everything changes. A hijacking is in progress, a silent but very heavy, a person that is rendered by the cyber criminals, which come of the bike, with time and determination, and you try to drag it down to the power, as witnesses to attend scared, with no idea of what to do. At that moment, the feeling of powerlessness seems to be taking care of you all, and hope that someone is able to do nothing about it less and less. Have you ever gone through a situation where he felt that there was nothing he could do? Maybe it's a scene similar to this one. It looks like the output of an action movie, but what happens in the real world, right before our eyes? It is against this backdrop of the tension that comes with a character that is unexpected, a puppy that went to the drive on the street. Not knowing exactly what's going on, he finds himself the injustice, the fear, the vulnerability of the victim, and then, without a moment's hesitation, his instinct for self-protection, he speaks over the top. You are going to find out right now, because this is a hero and all four of its legs has completely changed in the course of that history, to face the danger head-on, with courage, that it impresses even the most skeptical. Stay with me until the very end, because that's all you're going to watch it now. Can you be surprised in a way that few of us can imagine? It's not just an action of bravery, but it is a true act of love and loyalty, that it defies all of the odds. And the amazing thing is that this is the true story, causes us to reflect on the power of the dog to protect her humans, even in situations of extreme risk. Get ready, because the next thing that happens is a testament to the bravery that it will thrill you, and make you rethink everything you believe about these companions, etc. And who knows, to inspire you to cherish that special connection between a human and a dog. If this story has touched your heart, or brought something special with her own dog, to leave here in the comments what you touched, or that the narrative has awakened within you. Your opinion is important to us, not only to the strengthening of our community, but you are also so that we can exchange experiences, and to learn from him about what the fellow an incredible amount in each of our lives. Like the video to help spread this message of courage, loyalty, and unconditional love. Making out with more and more people can be inspired, and to connect with these beings are so special. And if you want to continue to receive stories like this one, tips, and reflections to celebrate the friendship between a human and a dog, please subscribe to the channel. Your being here is what makes that space to grow and to reach more people, and promoting a network of empathy and appreciation of the true meaning of loyalty. So don't hesitate to share it, enjoy it, and if you sign up, so that together we can continue to explore and celebrate the stories that show the best of ourselves, with the help of these four-legged friends by our side. After all, every comment, every like, and every subscription makes all the difference in our journey of discovery and excitement. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the real transformation, is what we oftentimes it starts just the way we see the world around us, and especially what we consider to be an obstacle, many of the times, and that prevents us from moving forward is not difficult in and of itself, but it is our perception of it. A simple change in mindset can open the doors seem to be closed, and reveal the solutions that were hidden for fear or doubt. It is at this point that a journey of self-discovery gets back up, because we understand that every challenge is an opportunity in disguise, a chance to learn, to develop and strengthen its resistance is felt. When we look at the stories of the people who have conquered great feats, we see that the difference is often in the decision to change difficulty at the time. These people do not let themselves be consumed by the negativity or discouragement. On the contrary, they make conscious choices to see the positive side of it, to look within themselves for the strength to go on. This change in perspective, it is a revolution of the mind, a fundamental step in the construction of a new reality. And this revolution is powered by a small daily actions, attitudes that seem to be simple, but they have a profound impact on the formation of our character and our resilience. The impact of the decisions that go far beyond what we could imagine at the time. When we choose to look at life with an attitude more positive note, we have started to attract the energies to be more aligned with the new way of thinking. It is as if a seed was planted in a good soil, and with time, she will live on in a visible transformation. This change of mind is not without influence on our relationships, our career choices, and even the way in which we see our own limitations. Suddenly, things that once seemed impossible become a challenge that can be overcome with determination and creativity. On the other hand, the transformation is not something that happens overnight. It will require dedication, self-awareness, and the courage to break down the limiting belief that often bear as a child. Many of these beliefs are rooted in the stories we have heard, and in the experiences that we live in, or the expectations that we have created for ourselves. Let go of those old narratives is a crucial step to make room for a new story, a story of growth, of hope, and of possibility. This is the journey we find the truth hidden behind all of this change, is that we are responsible for the impact we make in our lives. And then, to take on such a role, we have become the protagonists protagonists of our own, a transformation. And all of this is directly related to our daily decisions, our actions, and how we choose to interpret what's going on. Every decision we make, however small it may seem, it builds a path to possibilities. When we are aware of the power of choice, we begin to realize that our emotions, our thoughts, and our attitudes are a strong force in the creation of a new reality. After all, it is the change arises from within, out of a perception, conscious, and a real commitment to the advancement of people. This understanding leads us to reflect on the impact we can make not only our lives, but also for those that are around us. In our example, the actions that we take can be inspire and transform the environments in whole by creating a flow of goodness that is spread in a natural way, and it's contagious. And in the process, we have discovered that the journey of self-discovery is one of the greatest adventures that you can live with it, because they reveal our true potential and inspires us to be better versions of ourselves each and every day. When we begin to look beyond the surface, we find that the change happens in how we perceive our own history, and that, in itself, is a victory that can change lives. He writes in, "I'm on this journey too. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the transformation we seek is not only for specific actions, or by the change of the surface. It happens in the way that we decided to see the world and all the people, and of course we are the same. It is the change in perspective that we find the true key to unlocking one's potential. A lot of times, it is hidden under the layers of insecurity, fear, or limiting beliefs, and it is precisely at this point that it enters one of the major revelations of the journey of self-discovery, the idea that our everyday decisions, however small they may seem, they have a direct impact on the quality of our evolution. When you think about the choices we make, we see that out of the routine, for example, are often acts as a kind of a mirror of what we believe to be possible. If you woke up thinking about that day, it shall be difficult that you won't be able to move forward. We are, in truth, the programming of our minds to fail. But as we have to train our minds to focus on the possibilities, in gratitude, in the courage to try something new in, everything began to change. They are small, and the decisions, attitudes, and they seem simple, but which, when added together, to create a new narrative of the inside. This narrative is the one that really shapes who we are and how we feel, and what we think we are capable of delivering. Behind these changes, a lot of times, there's a truth that hides that very few are able to see right away. That's our story. No matter how hard it might be, it is not a script to be fixed. It may be a rewrite each and every day, each and every made a conscious decision that we make, and the freedom to create a new narrative. This is one of the greatest gifts that we are on a journey of self-discovery. It is as if the choice were to be a tool that you can use to wrap up a version of ourselves more in line with our values and dreams of the most profound. And in the process, we have found that the greatest impact, it is not trying to change everything at once, but to make a move at a time with intention and clarity, to immerse yourself even deeper in the realm of possibilities. We see that the transformation is not something that is external, which can be purchased or you'd like at one time or another. It takes place in a person's mind, the way in which we interpret their experiences. How do you deal with those obstacles? It is for this reason that, in many cases, the biggest revelation to come in the moments more to realize that it is our resistance to change. Many times it comes from a story that we tell to ourselves and to the fact that it was built over the course of the year, but it can be deconstructed with a little bit of courage and autocompensation. And to the extent that this awareness grows, it becomes clear that the real power lies in our ability to make choices that are aligned with who we truly are and who we want to become. It is not a matter of perfection, but originality. When we begin to understand that every decision is an opportunity to bring us closer to our release, everything takes on a new meaning. It is in constant movement, learning, and the evolution that we find the true magic of a life more fully, more consciously, and more powerful. Now, I want you to go even deeper on this topic, because this is a journey of self-discovery, and transformation is not linear or easy. It is about having the courage to face our own shadows, to accept our own weaknesses, and, above all, trust in the process. And in doing so, we have found that the greatest strength is in our ability to keep the faith in change, even when the results seem to be far away or obstacles seem to be insurmountable. Because deep down, every little step, every decision aware, is a seed of a greater change that is coming, a day that, while challenging, it is also filled with insights and discoveries that are changing lives. And when you think about all of this, it is clear that the true essence of transformation, it is in our willingness to rewrite history, to be the star of your own narrative, no matter what the past has in store for us. Because at the end of the day, it is we who have chosen the way, who is to decide if we're going to get caught on the boundary, or if we're going to embrace the freedom to be who you truly want to be. And that decision, more than any other, as it is the very first step to a life more in tune with our dreams, values, and purposes, as the most serious. He comments that it makes no sense to me. I now want to go more in depth on this subject, because, in fact, the choice of whether or not to follow the path of transformation is not something that happens automatically or by accident. It is born out of the understanding thinking, more aware of who we are, and what we are willing to give up in order to achieve what you want. Too often, we carry within us a kind of resistance, a silent voice, a voice that urges us to keep in your comfort zone, even with the knowledge that it didn't work for us anymore. It is as if there is a battle of quiet between the desire to grow and develop, and the fear of the unknown, in between your safety, we are already familiar with, and the freedom to be who you truly are. This resistance is further fueled by the stories that were told in the course of a lifetime, for the limiting belief that often don't even realize that they are there, hidden in the subconscious mind. They will create a roadmap to recognize that prevent us from moving forward. It makes us question our own ability to change. And as much as we want, this tour tends to be more powerful than the will to carry on, because it is deeply rooted in our history and the experiences of the past, the expectations of others. Then the real journey of change begins when we be able to see in these old stories, and to decide indeed to rewrite it. From the time that you took that decision making, it all begins to make new edges. And the mindset is changed. It will not be an ally, and a powerful tool for the design of new possibilities. And that's what's important to understand, the impact of the small, daily decisions, the ones that seem insignificant, but it actually helps to shape our own destiny, kind of like a butterfly effect. Every choice we make, every thought of what you eat, you will build the us. And the more aware we are of these choices, the more aligned we are with our own inner truth. The truth is hidden. It is that the processing does not demand big gestures or changes from one time to another. It is made up of small steps, consistency, persistency. It's like a seed that, if cared for carefully and patiently, slowly grows into a tree, strong and successful. And in the process, we learn to rely on our own strength, and to understand that even in our times of doubt, we can move on. Because that's the real difference, is not an escape from who you are, but a rough approximation of what we can become. To dive deeper into this universe of possibilities, we begin to see a behind the scenes of our own behavior. We have found that many of our limitations are, in fact, it is a mental construct that we can dismantle anytime. And in that revelation, it brings a sense of power and freedom, because it is showing us that we are in the main responsible for the shaping of human history. It's not a question of luck or fate, but made a conscious decision to embrace who you really are, and leave behind all the things that prevent us from moving forward. Because of this, the journey of self-discovery and transformation, it becomes a fascinating adventure full of discoveries and revelations. Every step we take in that way, it reveals a new layer, and ourselves, a truth hidden, which seemed to be far away or difficult to reach. And at the same time, we are learning that even if it is not a final destination, but a journey of continuous, steady, which prompts us to seek more, and to challenge your limits and create a reality that is truly in alignment with our deepest values. This discussion leads us to the understanding of the impact of our decisions go far beyond what we can imagine. They will reverberate in our esteem, our confidence in the way in which we relate to the world and the people around you. Each is made with courage and intent. It is an affirmation that you're ready to take control of our own history, and to stop being a spectator, and become the protagonist of your own storyline. And in this transformation, we have found that the greatest revolution that happens from the inside to the outside, in our way of thinking and seeing all the possibilities that life has to offer. As you explore such scenes, to the internal, it is clear that true freedom lies in our ability to decide who you want to be, regardless of the external circumstances. Because deep down, it all starts in the mind. And then, when you build the mindset of growth, we opened up the space for a transform, so genuine, that does not depend on external factors, such as, but to a decision by the interior. So every day becomes an opportunity to reaffirm that commitment with our own developments, to explore new possibilities, and create a life that is truly meaningful to us. And it is at this point that it becomes even more clear that this journey is not something you do on your own. It's not just a matter of willingness, or you want to change. It's a deep emotional connection with our higher purpose, what really makes our hearts tick. Because in the end, a true transformation arises from the alignment of the thinking, feeling, and action. When we are able to harmonize these elements in place, everything becomes lighter, more natural, more real. And it is this history that takes us on a far-reaching impact, a change that spills over into every area of our lives, which is reflected in our health, in our relationships, in our careers. Now, I want you to go even deeper on this topic. We're going to explore how such a connection with the main purpose can be the key to unlocking a new stage of growth. After all, to understand what really matters to us is the first step in turning a dream into reality, and to create a narrative of the life that is truly ours. And in the process, we have found that at the unveiling of the layers, the innermost of our being is, in fact, it reveals our very essence, the one-point match that set us connect you with the most genuine and powerful being in all of us. So, it is a reflection. How do you see this journey of transformation? What are the words and feelings will come to your mind when you think about rewriting your story? He comments that it makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the true transformation doesn't just just happen on the surface. It reveals itself in the everyday decisions, in the way we think about our own limits, and the courage to face the things that a lot of times we would prefer to conceal. A journey of self-discovery is a journey that requires patience, autocompaxeo, and a provision for examining all the things that we believe to be the truth. It's like a kind of a paradigm shift. A revelation is silent. They are going to mold our way of thinking and a way of life that, sometimes, you don't even realize it immediately. As we delve into the essence, we begin to notice that many of the barriers that we thought outside it was a reflection of limiting beliefs that we have for many years. These beliefs, but many of the times, were planted by the experiences of the past, by the opinions of third parties on or through the environment in which we grew up. And then when you open your eyes to this invisible impact, we find that the change begins from the inside to the outside. No point in trying to change the world around you without turning what's inside of you. It's a kind of a domino effect. From the moment that you have rewritten your internal narrative, everything around you starts to rearrange them. But this change is not something that happens in an hour or so to the other one. It takes a closer look at their own choices, their routine, and their deepest emotions. Because at the core, we are a reflection of the choices we make. And a lot of times, the major impact of this journey is, just how are you dealing with your own insecurities and doubts? When you begin to acknowledge these points and accept them fairly, giving them an important step forward towards emotional release, it is as if a transformation from quiet to happen, where fear, doubt, pride, or shame, they lose their power, because you will come to understand that they are part of the process, but they are not the best place for you. And here comes the revelation that a lot of people don't realize. The true transformation is not perfection, but rather the courage to accept her imperfections and to learn from them. It is at this point, the authenticity of which we find the strength to move forward, even in the face of adversity, the more difficult to make. Because after all, a journey of self-discovery, it's a journey of self-love and respect for who we are, of the truth, regardless of outside opinions or standards enforced by society. When we connect with that truth is hidden within us, we begin to understand the real impact we can make in our own lives and in those around us. And if you think about all of this, it is clear that the transformation is not a final destination, but an ongoing process, is a constant evolution, where every decision, every reflection, and every effort to contribute to the shaping of a new version of yourself. After all, our history is written every day, and in every choice we make is an opportunity to rewrite the next chapter. It is for this reason that when you look back, you realize that this whole journey of self-discovery is also a journey into the impact of behind the scenes of the hidden, when uncovered, will change everything. And this revelation is the very thing that leads us to the following, with more clarity and purpose into the next step of this narrative, which is only growing and getting stronger by the day. He comments that it makes no sense to me. I now want to go more in depth on this subject, because in fact that a lot of people don't realize is that a true transformation doesn't just happen on the surface, in the visible actions or decisions that we take in with our eyes closed. She was born there, in the heart of the mind and of the heart, where it is often the limiting beliefs, fears deep-rooted, and the distorted perceptions lie, as the truth is hidden and invisible when you look at the surface. And it is precisely at this point that the impact is beginning to shape up, sometimes quiet, almost unnoticed, until one day you realize that everything has changed, without having been planned or expected. During this journey of self-discovery, we find out that the choices we make daily are like the little windows to the universe within. Each and every decision, no matter how simple it may seem, it is an opportunity to reveal a new layer of that which you truly believe in being able, or worth. Those moments of decision-making, a lot of times, they carry a burden of emotional enormous, because they represent a direct confrontation with that which is hidden inside the box. And contrary to what many people think, this is the internal struggle is not a struggle against the external world, but for that version of ourselves that we still insist on staying in your comfort zone, into a routine of always doing what's expected of you, even if it means giving up our power over yourself. Over the course of the journey, we begin to realize that there is some sort of script to recognize that govern our actions, our emotions, and even our reactions are automatic. For this route, most of the time, it was written by the experiences of the past, by learning that we have acquired in early childhood, due to the difficulties that we face, and the stories we tell ourselves. And most of the time, those stories are not in harmony with our deepest truth, but if you make it a kind of mask that we wear to protect ourselves from the fear of being rejected, or to fail again and again. Because of this, the true transformation is about having the courage to challenge these narratives built in, so the question of whether they truly reflect our inner selves, or if you have been imposed upon them by external influences in the course of time. When we begin to unravel the layers, it's as if revelissimos is a truth to hide, which once discovered, you have the power to change everything around us. It often has a profound effect. It has made us realize that many of our limitations are, in fact, the constructions of the mind that can then be deconstructed with the same ease with which they were created. And in doing so, we open up space for a new narrative narrative, one that is aligned with our true purposes, what we really want in our lives. In the process of this disclosure, it should be clear that the journey is not linear or easy. It requires persistence, patience, and above all, authenticity, because if we are honest with ourselves, we are able to see beyond the surface of the grounds, soaking in the essence of who we really are. It is in the dive, which we release as we've found that a lot of our own internal battles that were created by an interpretation skewed to our own history, a history that we can rewrite from the moment that we have the courage to face up to the truth it hides. I now want to go more in depth on this topic, because they understand that change happens from the inside out. It's a revelation that changes everything. It's like to find these hidden layers, have to see it with fresh eyes, realizing that our greatest strength lies in our ability to transform into a narrative that we tell ourselves. With this understanding, it becomes a sort of master key that unlocks the door before it locked away, the fear, the doubt, and insecurity. And in doing so, we are able to bring about a new reality, one that is truly in alignment with who you are and what you want to achieve. Each step in this direction, it is an opportunity to strengthen the mind, to fund certain of our journey. The impact of evolution and self-discovery is only just beginning to reveal its higher price. He writes in, I'm on this journey too. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the true transformation doesn't just happen on the big actions, but also in the way we see the world and ourselves. When we begin to question our own beliefs that we accept as the truth, and that a lot of times, in the limit, we take a decisive step on the road to freedom, is to be who you truly want to be. It is as if, for a long time, we are committed to a narrative that is imposed on us, or that we have created over the years, and it is only by deconstructing it, is that we were able to get a glimpse of a wider, full of possibilities for real change. This relation, however, does not happen at one time or another. It is about having the courage to face your own shadows. So look forward to that a lot of times we would prefer to conceal. It is during this process that we find out the secret reasons behind our decisions and our deep emotions, and it has also a script built that in the sabotage. When we begin to understand that the choices we make today are the result of a set of standards and the stories that we have, it is clear how we can rewrite it and thus, to create a new reality. The key lies in our perception, in our way of thinking that anything is possible as long as we're willing to put in the necessary movement. And that's exactly where it comes to the notion of the impact. Because when you turn to our way of thinking, we end up influencing the environment around us. Each change to the internal echo in the way we act, to communicate, and to lead our own lives. It's as if, when we align our lives with our own stocks, quebracemos down the barriers of fear and doubt, and releasing the energy of an authentic purpose for which he has been, who is on our side. This connection is most true with what we think. We begin to create a kind of domino effect, where our authenticity, it inspires others to also seek their own transformations. But for all this to happen in a more profound way, it is necessary to understand that the journey of self-discovery that is not linear. There may be a time of progress, which was followed by setbacks, doubts, and even of the financial crisis. During these periods, they are not signs of failure, but in fact they are part of the process of emotional maturity. When you learn to embrace this phase, we see that they can be used as a testing ground for insights on where you can try out new ways of thinking and acting, setting that needs to be adjusted. Each and every decision, with each reflection, it's a piece that fits in the construction of a new brand identity, the more in alignment with what we truly want in our life. And then, at the opening of this space is to your self-awareness, we can begin to understand the weight of our choices inside. After all, it is in those quiet moments of introspection that a lot of times, we find the answers we seek. These findings of internal, and tend to be a trigger for change in the deeper, is a kind of a wake-up call that causes us to rethink everything we look at as right or wrong. And there you have it, the basis of these findings. We were able to establish a new relationship with time and the effort, and the merit of learning. We find that the impact begins inside of us, in detail, which often pass unnoticed, but in fact are the foundation of all of the transformation. All of this leads us to think more widely about what it really means to live a life of purpose. Because, deep down, this is the journey of an alignment between what we are, and what we want, and how we can contribute to making a better world. And if you make this connection in the most genuine, we have strengthened our ability to make informed choices, to stay firm in the face of difficulties, and to celebrate every step, however small they may seem. Every step you take, every time a new discovery is a critical piece in the puzzle of the evolution that we are putting together, one piece at a time, dedication, and courage. Now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the truth hides behind all this is a journey of self-discovery and transformation, is that it never ends. In fact, it reinvents itself every day, in every choice we make, every new view that we have brought on ourselves. It is a continuous movement, a dance to the discovery that challenges us to be versions of each of the more authentic, more in line with the core. And in this movement, we find that the impact is even more powerful than we can make it. To the one who is born of the Spirit is truly transformed, embracing embracing vulnerability, and the constant learning and the courage to evolve and go beyond his own limits. Because of this, you understand that this journey is an everyday gives us the freedom to be enormous. Free yourself from the burden of the expectations of the external, and the comparison allows us to focus on what really matters, the growth of our authenticity, and our inner truth. And in doing so, we have to create some sort of legacy of the unseen, that it is not merely the results of the materials, but due to the impact of emotional, spiritual, and which we leave on the people around us. This is the essence of life, is more fulfilling, more aware, more in tune with our deeper purpose. And when you think about all of this, it is clear that the change is not just a matter of strategy or to take specific action, but to an inner transformation, which is reflected in every decision, in every posture, and in front of the life. This is a journey that invites us to look beyond the obvious, to discover our own truth, and to develop a mindset that will allow us to not only dream, but to make a conscious and powerful. And as we move forward on this journey, one thing is for certain: with each discovery, however small it may seem, it is a very important part in the construction of who we are really meant to be. He comments that it makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the true transformation happens not only with the change of the stock, surface, or empty words. It comes from a deep understanding of a wake-up call that shows all the components are hidden in our own history, our own limitations, that often we don't even notice. These beliefs are often deeply rooted in the experiences of the past, in the small decisions that we make without realizing the impact it would have on our present and our future. And this is where it comes to the importance of an open-minded, out of a genuine desire to confront what we believe to be true about ourselves and the world around us. When you begin to question those truths that are hidden in the face with a journey full of amazing discoveries, we have found that a lot of our own limitations, they are mental constructs of the stories that we tell ourselves to justify what we feel, or what we think is possible or impossible. This revelation is like a key that opens the door to a world of possibilities, and where the only thing that really limits us is our own mind. And once you understand this, you begin to recognize the impact of our daily decisions, from the small choices that can turn into big steps towards our development. It takes courage to look within, to face your own shadows, but this courage is what makes you dream of. In fact, in practice, this change requires a paradigm shift. Don't you just want to do something with intensity? It is necessary to align the actions of one's will. Each and every decision, however small it may seem, it is a very important part in the construction of our own destiny. From the moment that we have no control over those choices, will serve you with my life, with the understanding that we are all responsible for most of the impact which we produce in our own history. It is as if each and every step of the conscious would be a signature that, in our journey of self-discovery, and a statement that you are committed to our development, even in the face of obstacles most challenging. This is a change of mindset, is, in fact, an internal revolution that transformed the way we see the world and ourselves, and that the revolution did not happen at one time or another. It is built day by day, decision by decision, reflection after a moment of reflection. It's a constant practice of self-discovery and renewal of thought. Even though the way may seem difficult at times, each and every small victory, every insight, it will enhancing your confidence in your own ability to transform into a reality. And in the process, we discover that the truth is hidden, often, is in our own narrative, in the way that we tell the story of your life. When you have the courage to rewrite it to take center stage, all things are possible. The feeling of being free from the control of the authenticity goes on to be a part of our lives. Now, I want you to go even deeper on this topic, because this is a journey of transformation, also shows behind the scenes that a lot of people would rather keep hidden. The revelations that challenge our comfort zone, which puts us face to face with what we admit to ourselves. And it is precisely in this discussion that the real change happens. When we run away from our own truth, we opened up the space to develop a genuine, a life more in tune with who you really are and want it to be. It is then that we realize that every step you take, every decision consciously, brings us to the building of a new narrative, a story of the impact, courage, and authenticity. And in the process, all of the things that once seemed impossible becomes evident that, because of our way of thinking has been reprogrammed to think that we can, however, be done differently and better. And so, the journey continues and is always on the move, ever changing, revealing the deepest levels of who we are and what we're capable of winning. With each revelation, each and every decision, it's an opportunity for us to reconnecting with our inner selves, and to reaffirm your commitment to live in a way that is more real, more conscious, and more powerful. At each step, the impact of this change is heard not only in our own lives, but also for those around us, creating a chain that is growing in the wake of each of them. And it's in this wake-up call that the magic happens, because it's the true transformation, is born from the inside to the outside of the mind that is renewed, and is getting stronger every day, fueled by the desire to be the best version of yourself, and leave a positive mark on the world. He comments that it makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the true essence of this transformation lies in the ability we have to connect with what we really are, in addition to the mask that's life often requires us to use it. This is a journey of self-discovery is not an easy road, and many times, it feels like we're walking on a tightrope, balancing between the fear of the unknown and the hope for a real change. But it is precisely this movement, to dare, to challenge your own limiting beliefs, that we find the greatest treasure to the internal ones, the ones hidden truths that have always been there, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Over the course of the trek, it is common for us to meet up with resistors built in, with a voice that urges us to keep in your comfort zone, which makes us doubt the potential that we have. These elements, in fact, are the filters that you have created over the years, shaped by the experiences, opinions of others, and the failures that we think of as permanent. But when you really look into it, we realize that these things are just stories that we tell ourselves, and that, in essence, we can rewrite it by changing the script of our own, a narrative of the life of. It's that time of the wake-up call that we understand the impact that our decisions can have on not only our career, but also for those that are around us. Each choice, no matter how simple it may seem, it has the potential to open new doors and create new opportunities. And it is this consciousness that we are all the protagonists of our own roadmap, which gives you immense freedom to transform, not only our ways of life, but also in the way in which we view the world. Because in truth, the change begins in the mind, and the mentality that we have chosen to grow on a daily basis. And the more we nurture the growth within it, the stronger it makes your self-confidence, which sustains us in the face of challenges that are more complex. In this scenario, it is important to understand that true transformation is not a straight line, not a one-off event. It is an ongoing process, a journey of self-discovery, which is about having the courage to face your own shadows, you accept the faults, and celebrate the little victories of everyday life. Many of the times, and that prevents us from moving forward, is the unconscious beliefs that we have, the ones that tell us that we are not able to, or that we don't deserve anything better. These beliefs, when you called, you have the power to fade into the background, giving way to a new vision of the future, more in tune with our deepest desires. And there you have to enter a password, which I consider to be essential in the reflection of an impact, because of all of the things that we do, in some way echo. When we invest in our development, we positively impact the environment around us, waking up people to the possibility of change. This processing chain is like a wave that spreads through, touching lives, inspiring action, and creating a reality that is more conscious and in line with the truth of each one of them. It is as if with each step forward in the quest for a more authentic to himself, it was like a seed planted in fertile soil, and that eventually blossoms into something greater than we might have previously thought. And in the process, behind the scenes of our mind, to reveal the secrets that a lot of times we prefer to hide, the memories that we have of the failures of the past, questions which seem to be strong, fear that we will lock at the time of the move. But when you immerse yourself in these scenes, we find out that all the things that we thought to be the obstacle is, in fact, it's a growth opportunity in disguise. Because when faced with these emotions, we learn how to turn pain into strength, fear into motivation, and the limitations on the possibilities of overcoming it. And so the journey of the self, it becomes a true story of endurance and courage, in which each obstacle is seen as a bridge to the next stage of evolution. And it is precisely at this point that you realize just how much the change in shaping our history, every conscious decision, each action that is in alignment with our deepest values, enhance our way of thinking for those who really want to make a difference. And this mentality, in turn, shapes our daily actions, our relationships, our dreams, the most exciting. The more you cultivate a growth mindset, the more we realize that the universe conspires in favor of our intentions are sincere, because deep down it's all a matter of perspective, of how we see reality, and of the potential that lies within us all. And in this context, the key is to keep the flame burning, even in the face of adversity, because it's the true transformation requires resilience, attitude, and is a leap of faith in their own ability to improve. This is not a change of surface, or in a quick fix, but it is a great inner happen, day by day, decision by decision. And the more you connect with the essence, the clearer it becomes that it's the journey of self-discovery is your biggest adventure you can live with it, because it leads us to discover who we really are, and what we can accomplish when we choose to be in control of our own lives. He comments that it makes no sense to me, and it is precisely for this reason to be here, till the end, it makes all the difference. You've already taken the first step to allow you to reflect on this journey of self-discovery, and it just shows how much you value this process of growing up. If you found this content useful, or if you have identified any idea, leave your like. It will help us to keep bringing you the topics that really make a difference in your daily routine. In addition to this, subscribe to the channel. It's a way to make sure that you won't miss the upcoming videos, always thinking about you in support of this path of discovery and transformation. If you made it this far, and he felt that it was up to you, and he comments that, I'm with you till the end. Thus, we are able to create a connection even stronger, and to exchange experiences, and to inspire those who are watching as well. Each of the reviews is a way of of showing that this change is worth the pain and the journey of self-discovery that is made up of steps that are here on Earth. And in order to continue in the grip, there's a video right here on the side, which complements this subject. You click on it, and still am there. I am sure it will help you to learn more about this process. After all, this is just the beginning, and with each step we take is an opportunity to discover new possibilities within ourselves. Thank you for being with me up until now. I'll see you in the next video, with even more content than it makes sense for those who are seeking to better understand and achieve the life that is aligned with who you really are.